Have you ever felt like you're drifting through life without a map? No clear goal, no solid direction, just a string of days where you're trying, but not even sure what you're trying for. If you're nodding, or if your heart just quietly tightened, this video might be the signal you've been waiting for. Pause for just a few minutes, because what feels like being lost might actually be your path. There's a quote by Florence Scovel Shinn that has changed thousands of lives. There is a place you are to fill, and no one else can fill it. This isn't just a statement, it's truth. A truth your soul has known all along. But you may have forgotten beneath the noise of pressure, doubt, and the voice inside that keeps cutting yourself down. Have you been repeating things like, "I'm not good at anything, I don't know what I want"? None of this makes sense. Florence would gently remind you, your word is your wand. The words you speak are the magic that shapes your world. So are you casting yourself into the dark or unlocking a door to light? Try whispering this right now. I am divinely guided. Though I may not see the full path yet, I am moving in the right direction. Feel what shifts in your body after saying that. A little lighter, a little calmer. That's the energy of truth, a truth that doesn't need to be proven, only felt. We often think we need to think bigger or do more to find direction. But Florence whispers the opposite. Be still, listen, then speak what you want to see. Not from forceful logic, but from the soft trust of the soul. Faith is substance. Faith isn't a vague wish, it's the very material that shapes your reality. And if you're still wondering, do I truly deserve a path that's just mine? Let me remind you, even doubt is a form of belief. You've just been placing your faith in something that doesn't serve you. So instead of thinking, I have no direction, try saying, the divine design for my life is unfolding. I allow myself to walk forward with trust. In the next part, you'll be guided through 5 spiritual pillars from Florence to help you step out of the mental fog, not by pushing harder, but by gently realigning your words and awareness. You'll no longer chase the light at the end of the tunnel because you'll realize you were always the one carrying the light. Let me ask you this. If every word you speak is a seed, what are you planting into the soil of your life? Share your thoughts in the comments, and don't miss the next part where the light begins to shine even clearer. There's a moment when you sit in silence, phone in hand, yet you don't want to open anything. Your mind is blank. Your heart feels heavy as stone. You don't know where you went wrong, only that you're drifting with no shore in sight. Everything you once believed in now feels uncertain. If you're in that space, breathe slowly. And let me share a story with you. One of Florence Scovel Shinn's students once came to her in emotional chaos. She had lost her job. Her partner had left. Her bank account barely held enough for one more week of meals. But the worst part wasn't the loss. It was the loss of direction. She looked at Florence and said, I don't know who I am anymore. I don't want anything. Nothing makes sense. Florence didn't try to comfort her. She didn't say stay strong or keep pushing forward. She simply smiled and handed her a piece of paper. On it was a single sentence. I am exactly where I need to be. And from this place, I am being led to exactly what I need. That was it. No 5-step plan, no lofty goals, just a return to faith. Not blind faith, but deep anchored faith. Faith that a divine intelligence within you is still guiding, even if you've momentarily forgotten how to hear it. Florence wrote in The Game of Life, the kingdom of heaven is within you. The peace, the answers, the path they don't lie somewhere out there. They live inside you. We're often told we need to know what we want, make a clear plan, push forward with certainty. But Florence taught the opposite. Sometimes the first step isn't action, it's stillness. When you don't know where to go, don't rush forward. Sit. Ask yourself, what brings even a slight sense of relief to my heart? What am I hearing beneath the silence? If I didn't have to please anyone, how would I choose to live? Your connection to yourself is the compass, but to access it, you must choose to trust. Because the guidance within doesn't shout, it whispers. and it requires enough quiet inside you to be heard. Florence suggested this affirmation repeated each morning. I am divinely guided. Even if I can't yet see the full path I trust, the next step is already being revealed. Affirmations aren't magic spells that instantly fix everything. They are anchors. When you say them enough, your mind begins to choose again, to choose hope over fear, clarity over confusion. And step by step, the path unfolds. A question for you. Have you ever followed a small gut feeling? One that didn't make sense, but later turned out to be the best choice you ever made? Share that moment in the comments. Your story might be the light someone else needs right now. In the next section, we'll step into one of the most powerful tools Florence ever gave us: words. If your inner self is the compass, then your words are the oars that steer the boat of your life. Let's explore how to use language as magic, not just to heal, but to transform your reality one day at a time. Don't miss it, this awakening journey is just beginning. Imagine being handed a magic wand, but no one ever taught you how to use it. So unknowingly, you wave it each day. Not to create light, but to summon fog. That's exactly what happens when we're unaware of the power our words carry. Florence Scovel Shinn called words your wand. Not as a metaphor for fantasy, but as a truth. Every word you speak carries a vibration, and that vibration calls matching experiences into your life. Pause for a moment and reflect. What have you said about yourself today? I'm not good at expressing myself. I'm not sure this will work out. I'm tired. Everything feels hard. Even if it feels like harmless venting, just letting it out, you're still waving your wand. You're planting seeds. You're giving shape to the very thing you don't want. Florence told the story of a woman named Maria who had been stuck in discouragement for 8 months after losing her job. Every day she said things like, "No one's choosing me. I've become invisible. I'm useless." By the time she came to Florence, she had given up hope. But Florence didn't scold her. She simply asked, if you were the gatekeeper of the universe, and your only job was to open doors for those who are worthy, would you open the door for someone who speaks about themselves this way? Maria fell silent. Tears welled up in her eyes. No one had ever asked her that. Florence wrote down an affirmation and told her to repeat it daily. I am seen. I am chosen. I am stepping into the perfect role designed for me at the divine right time. 2 weeks later, Maria got a call from an old friend she hadn't spoken to in 5 years. It led to a job interview, a position perfectly aligned with her skills in a workplace where for the first time in months she felt respected and trusted. But Florence reminded her the miracle wasn't the job. The real miracle was how Maria's face had changed. She was no longer a woman living in fear. She had remembered her light. You can do the same. You don't need validation from others. You don't need some big success. You only need to change what you say to yourself gently, consistently, one word at a time. Choose one healing sentence today. Say it like you're speaking to the child within you, the one who was once judged, doubted, ignored. And when you say it, feel it. Place your hand on your heart. Breathe deeply. I was born to be seen. I was created to live a meaningful life. My words are the seeds of the new reality taking shape. Let me ask you, what is one negative phrase you've been unconsciously repeating? And what healing affirmation will you replace it with, starting today? Write it in the comments. Declare it. Because when you write, you speak into form. And when you declare, transformation begins. In the next part, we'll explore the power of visualizing. Because words are the spark, but the images you hold in your mind are the blueprint the universe uses to build your reality. Florence will show you how to use imagination, not as a fantasy, but as a sacred creative tool. Stay with this video because from here, you may begin to see that what once felt like a dream is already turning into something real. There are things you've never seen with your eyes, but your heart has imagined them 1,000 times. A peaceful morning. A place where you feel accepted. A job that makes you feel grateful. Florence Scovel Shinn called this imagination not as a way to escape reality, but as a way to call reality toward you. Imagination is the scissors of the mind. It cuts away what binds you, and it tailors a new destiny. But sadly, most of us use these scissors to shape lives that feel too tight, full of fear. You imagine rejection. You envision failure. You see things falling apart even when they haven't happened yet. And then you ask yourself, why does my life keep falling off track? Why do I always end up in what I fear most? Florence would gently say, because you've seen it in your mind again and again with emotion as if it already happened. Imagination is neutral. It doesn't sort out good from bad. It only magnifies what you believe is possible. And if most of your energy goes into picturing worst-case scenarios, you're building a stage for tragedy without realizing it. But what if you chose to imagine something different? I remember a story Florence once shared about a man named Arthur. He was too poor to afford a train ticket home. But Florence didn't hand him money. Instead, she asked, if tomorrow morning you could live exactly as you wish, what would you do? Arthur gave a sad smile. I'd go home. I'd have a warm meal with my mother. Florence said, then tonight before you sleep, picture your mother opening the door. See yourself stepping inside, sitting at the table. Feel the warmth, smell the food, hear the laughter. Arthur did just that, not once, but every day. A week later, a long-lost friend contacted him, offering a train ticket home. The friend had no idea what Arthur had been going through. But Florence's message was never about the train ticket. The real miracle was Arthur's frequency had shifted from fear to love, from despair to deep emotion. And the universe, like a song, always responds to the music you play. So try this right now. Close your eyes. Picture yourself on a recent morning waking up in peace. See yourself opening the curtains, sunlight, kissing your skin. You smile not because of any big reason, but simply because you are alive. You receive a message that moves you to tears. You step outside, and something small but beautiful happens. Something that reminds you you are loved by a force you cannot see but can always feel. Feel every detail. Don't just see it, feel it. Your heart will know when the vibration is right. And when you're done, repeat this. I am imagining the beautiful reality that is drawing near. And I am being led by the light I've already seen within. What will you visualize for yourself today? Comment below, I imagine, and continue with the vision you want to plant. It can be a tiny moment, a smile, a place you long to visit, a person you hope to meet. Write it down. Write to plant. Write to remember. You are the one rewriting the script. In the next part, we'll move into one of the most vital teachings Florence ever gave, letting go and letting God. Because yes, you can imagine, you can speak the right words, you can believe. But if you're still clinging, still anxious, still trying to control, then the current can't flow freely. Stay close, because that's where you'll truly begin to breathe again, softly, fully, and freely. Do you know what keeps even the most spiritually minded people feeling exhausted or stuck? It's not because they lack faith. It's not because they're not trying. It's because they're still holding on too tightly. Florence Scovel Shinn called this the state of conditional faith. I'll believe. If things go the way I want. I'll be grateful. If I get what I asked for now. But here's the truth. Miracles don't flow through that kind of energy. Let go and let God. Let go and let the divine take care of the rest. This isn't just a sweet saying, it's a spiritual key that unlocks the flow of grace. Letting go doesn't mean giving up. It means trusting so deeply that you no longer feel the need to check. You no longer watch the clock. You no longer keep asking the universe, are you sure it's really coming? Imagine you've planted a seed. You picked the best one, watered it, chose the perfect soil. But every day you dig it back up to check if it's sprouting. What happens? That seed never gets the chance to grow. That's exactly what we do with our dreams, affirmations, and visions when we don't release control. Florence once said, doubt is the spade that uproots the seed of faith. You plant it one day, but if the next day you dig it up with fear and control, it has nowhere to root. I remember a woman named Clara. She had been trying to conceive for 7 years. She had tried everything. She began working with Florence, who gave her an affirmation. I know my divine child is already on its way to me. But Clara still checked for signs every day. She felt anxious, afraid it might never happen. One day Florence asked her, if your child was already on the train coming to meet you, would you sit quietly at the station and wait? Or would you run up and down the platform, shouting into the loudspeakers, banging on the train doors? Clara laughed and for the first time felt something lift. From that day on, she stopped checking. She chose to trust and let go. 3 months later, she received her joyful news, peacefully, naturally, in perfect timing. Ask yourself, are you still chasing what you want, or are you ready to receive it with quiet trust? The practice of letting go doesn't come from the mind. It comes from an inner decision that you've done your part and now it's time to allow a greater force to handle the rest. You don't need to know how. You only need to know, I am being guided. I release resistance. I exhale my worries. I walk gently on the path, prepared for me, led by the divine. What are you ready to let go of today to feel lighter? Comment below. Today, I let go of. And fill in what you're ready to surrender to the universe. Whether it's a fear, a past relationship, or the need to control everything, write it down as a commitment to your healing. In the next part, we'll enter the final and most powerful phase of Florence's journey, living as if the miracle has already happened. Because gratitude isn't a reaction after receiving, it's the language of total faith. Stay with this journey. You are now stepping into the vibrational space where all good things begin to take form. If you've already planted seeds through powerful words, visualized goodness, placed your faith in something higher, and surrendered the outcome, then now, you've arrived at a magical phase, living as if the miracle has already happened. This isn't about pretending you have something you don't. It's about stepping into the highest frequency possible, the frequency where you live in alignment with your desire, as if it is already true. Florence Scovel Shinn said, "Man must act as if he had already received. You can't wait for the result to feel joyful, peaceful, or grateful. Because the state you embody before receiving is what invites your desire to arrive." Imagine you've already received your biggest gift, a dream job, a beautiful relationship, a bright new beginning. How would you walk? How would you smile? How would you look at life? Now do that, right now. Not because the miracle has arrived, but because gratitude before is the very key that unlocks the door. Florence once shared the story of a woman named Mrs. Carroll. She had lived in lack for many years, always anxious, always waiting for a better day. When she met Florence, she was given this affirmation to repeat daily. I live in abundance and peace, and I am grateful for every moment of my life. Instead of worrying, she began replacing the flowers on her table each morning. She cleaned her room as if a special guest was coming. She prepared meals with care. She wrote in her gratitude journal every night, even when nothing special had happened. But within just 2 weeks, a niece she hadn't heard from in ages showed up and offered to bring her to live in a peaceful little countryside home, surrounded by light, love, and care. What happened? She didn't wait for that gift to arrive. She became the kind of person who could receive it. And the universe simply responded to the frequency she had been living in all along. Are you still waiting for a miracle, or are you becoming the miracle one day at a time? Here are a few actions you can take to step into your miracle. Write a thank you letter, as if your prayer has already been answered. Wear an outfit that makes you feel powerful even if there's no reason to. Spend 5 quiet minutes each morning imagining how wonderful today could be, then go live it as if it already is. Florence said, "When man gives thanks for what he has not yet received, he shows spiritual advancement." Here's an affirmation you can repeat each morning. I walk into this new day as if the miracle has already happened. I am grateful. I am at peace. I am open to every beautiful thing that's finding its way to me today. If you could choose one thing to do today that reflects living as if the miracle has come, what would it be? Comment below. I choose and share your action. It might be something small, walking lightly as if a weight has lifted, making a joyful phone call, or simply smiling like you've just received a beautiful surprise. By sharing it, you not only inspire someone else, you also whisper to the universe, "I'm ready now." In the final part coming next, you won't just hear a recap, you'll receive a sacred whisper from the spirit of Florence herself. A message for those standing at a crossroads, for those feeling lost, for those needing one spark to keep moving. Stay with me, because what you hear next just might be the light you've been looking for. When you feel lost, uncertain of where to go next, it may not be a sign that you've gone off course. It may be an invitation to pause and return to yourself. Because as Florence Scovel Shinn once said, the one who trusts in divine intelligence is never lost. You've just walked through a journey, not just through this video, but through your own heart, from confusion to trust, from control to surrender, from waiting to living as if the miracle has already arrived. These aren't empty ideas. They are timeless spiritual principles, proven again and again in the lives of those who felt lost, but found themselves again. Maybe right now nothing has visibly changed. Maybe life outside still feels messy and uncertain. But if you've listened to this message all the way through, you are no longer the same. Because something inside you has shifted, a tiny flame is now quietly burning in your soul. And as you carry that light into tomorrow, everything around you, slowly or suddenly, will begin to rearrange itself to match who you are becoming. There is no such thing as being lost for a soul guided by spiritual light. Florence Scovel Shinn. So if you've been waiting for a sign to close this chapter of uncertainty, here is the message Florence and I want to leave you with. You don't need all the answers today. You only need to move forward in trust, and the universe will take care of the rest. You are not lost. You are being called home to yourself. Comment below, "I am returning to myself by..." Then write a small action, a fresh thought, a loving choice you'll make after watching this video. It doesn't have to be grand. It just needs to be true, from your heart. Because this isn't just a commitment to yourself, it's a signal to the universe. I am ready to move forward with light and with gratitude. If this video touched something inside, you hit like, subscribe, and share it with someone who may need this message too. Because maybe you will be the light that helps someone else keep going on their path. Thank you for showing up, for listening, and for allowing yourself to be healed, not through anything dramatic, but through a gentle returning to your own heart. I'll see you again in future videos, where each word, each affirmation, each miracle Florence left behind will become a stepping stone, bringing you closer to your most radiant self. Because in the end, as she once said, the game of life is a game of boomerangs. Our thoughts, deeds, and words return to us sooner or later with astounding accuracy. So live, speak, and think as if the miracle is already walking beside you. Because it truly is in this very moment.